So I'm in Reno right now, and I met JP, aka the Can-Durist. He just flew around the world, and most of you guys probably have seen that, or if not, you should check out his channel because he flew a Cessna around the world, which is pretty cool. And as you know, I'm going down to South America right now in my Super Cup. I'm super happy to talk to him right now, and I hope he can give me some advice, or at least tell me some of his stories of flying around the world. So let's go talk to him. Hey JP!
What's up, dude?
Super cool to meet with you. I'm super happy about that.
Yeah, same here. I honestly had no idea who you were and what you were up to, but finding your channel was really cool. Like, what you're doing is awesome. I'm a big advocate for adventure. I'm a big advocate for using tools to their fullest potential, and you're using your paraglider and your Super Cub to its fullest potential.
Yeah,
so,
it's great.
I think that's epic. I really do.
Thanks for that. Well, yeah, so I'm of course super interested in your trip and what you did flying around the world. I just watched a couple of Louis' videos because you didn't actually like vlog it all the time, which was too bad actually, because as a pilot I would have been more interested in seeing your perspective than just seeing it from a non-pilot's perspective, which was just like sitting in there. Sorry to mention that here, but
no, that's true.
I'm just trying to motivate you to use your footage at some point, and
I hope to, yeah, for sure,
and show it to people. Anyway, so how did you come up with this, and why did you want to do it, and what was the biggest challenges?
Well, for me it was multi-layered. I've always loved flying. It's just something I always wanted to do, really. I just wanted to see the world. Basically, I wanted to take myself around the world, like use my skills and ability to fly around the world, and that's kind of what that became. And I wanted to use an airplane that really wasn't designed for it, and push
it's easy with a turboprop.
Yeah, with anything like that. But yeah, there were a lot of challenges involved, and I like challenges. So.
Me too.
Yeah, so South America will be a good treat for you then.
Yeah.
It'll be filled with challenges for sure.
What was your biggest challenge, you think?
My biggest challenge was doing very complex, straining, dangerous flights with a non-pilot on board.
So you were basically flying solo around the world.
Yes, and but I would argue that it was probably even more difficult.
Yeah.
Because you had to manage, manage.
You're responsible for your passengers.
Yeah, and his life mattered to me, so it was pretty important.
As a pilot, like thinking about doing the trip that I want to do, when I think about it, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna cross so many borders. I mean, it's not that many. You crossed way more. So what did you like think before you did it? Did you think like, okay, that's gonna be easy. I'm just gonna be IVR, I guess. So it's gonna be always the same thing. Or did you think about that? Was that an issue for you? Or
it's a major issue, yeah, because you never know what you're gonna get, and every country is very different. So you're always thinking, you're always thinking like 3 countries ahead. Like, what is that going to be like? Like, how are they going to sound over the radio? Are they going to be able to understand me? Am I going to get arrested when I land? All that stuff. And honestly, the biggest peace of mind for me was having a handler that does this all the time.
Okay, so that's a recommendation?
Massive recommendation. Like, I gave you the contacts for General Aviation Support Egypt, and they don't pay me to say this, but they're genuinely the best in the world. Okay. And just having, because here's the thing, when you do your own paperwork, is you're gonna have different sources that are gonna tell you, and you might buy a book that was written 4 years ago, but 2 months ago, I can promise you half of these countries change the way they do things. So you want somebody that's doing that all the time. Because you can fill out all the right paperwork that was valid 2 months ago, but now it's different. And then you arrive, and then they have grounds to arrest you on, and all that. So a massive recommendation is use them to get you.
Yeah. So far, me and my wife are traveling for 2 months, a little more than that. We started in the most northern tip of Alaska, actually, and flew all the way down to here, which is Nevada right now. It's not that far yet, but we already did 100 hours. Yeah. Because we were just enjoying the trip, and as you just said, in my head, I'm like constantly thinking about how is it going to be to cross over to Mexico and leave the US.
Mexico will be interesting, man.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard a lot of good things about Mexico.
Yeah.
People go there to bush fly, people go there to enjoy Mexico, and they do it all the time, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal, I guess. But on the other hand, I heard stories that like once you land and you leave your plane alone, there's gonna be drugs in there, and then you come back and they say you smuggled drugs and they take your plane, right? Stuff like this. But I'm sure it's not gonna happen. But
you just gotta be vigilant. You gotta not ruin your fun by being too cautious. But be cautious, like, you know, because you will meet people that could potentially upset you or like cause you trouble. But for the most part, you're going to meet amazing people just like you have this far in the trip, and they're going to help you. My biggest recommendation is make as many local pilot friends as possible, because they'll tell you exactly where to go and where not to go.
Yeah, and I'm lucky. I have already a couple of friends
That's awesome,
on the way, and people contacted me. So in case you see that and you're a pilot, reach out. I appreciate it. It would be great. I take you on a ride in the Super Cup or in the paraglider, and we have fun. So that's the whole idea of my trip. Did you kind of like try to be on a schedule of flying around the world, or did you just try to go fast?
We didn't have a schedule, but we had a final deadline, which was a really bad thing to have, like, because it pushes you, and it pushes your because I had really far to go versus you don't have that far to go, but you have a set time. So I didn't have a schedule, and I wouldn't recommend you get one.
I have kind of a schedule. I mean, I kind of wanted to be down there at solstice, 21st of December.
Okay, but that's
plenty of time. Like if we would just go straight now, we would be down there in a month. I guess if we
probably even less.
Yeah, if we I'm flying really slow.
That's
85
true.
miles per hour.
I tend to forget how slow you're flying because I was doing it around 200 miles an hour. So it's a big difference.
It's like more than half of the speed.
Yeah.
So. It would take me 500 hours to fly around the world according to your hours, right? That you had.
Probably, yeah.
One other thing that I'm kind of thinking about and concerned about and interested actually is like looking at the charts or information of where to go. Like US is like perfect.
Yeah.
Also
it's
Europe
the best
is
in
perfect.
the West. Yeah.
And then I looked at finding charts for Mexico. Even it starts in Mexico. You know, like there's nothing, or if something is there, it's very old. So how did you prepare? Did you have everything digital, or did you buy maps, charts, or did you?
I bought the Jeppesen charts, so the Jeppesen low and high charts, and I believe they have VFR for a lot of these countries. So I would look into Jeppesen, but it's insanely expensive. So it was like $13,000. So it's just not worth it. What I would do is just talk to local pilots, like try and go as far ahead as you can and start getting information. The reality with a lot of these countries is that they don't have charts because there isn't really airspace.
Yeah.
You know, so you don't have to really worry about much. The only things you have to worry about is military airspace, like any military zones that you do not want to fly into. And the only way you're really going to know about that is like first, Garmin Pilot or ForeFlight will most likely tell you about those, because no matter where I was, Garmin Pilot was telling me. Cool. Like, you know, that's like great. Even though I was cross-checking it with my Jeppesen stuff, it was telling me. Okay. But then also just chat to local people. Yeah. The big concern you're also going to have is there might be certain forests that you don't want to fly low over because there are drug cartels in there that'll shoot any plane down.
Exactly.
There are cities that you might not want to fly low over because they'll think you're a police plane.
What is low for getting shot down? Do you know that?
Usually if you're 2,000 feet and above, they probably won't have an accurate shot. Yeah. So
it's a small plane.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's getting ignored.
And as long as they don't hit you, you're probably okay. Like, because it'll just go through the fabric. But yeah, you want to avoid that.
yeah, absolutely. This whole project changed over the time.
Yeah.
Originally, I wanted to have a second Super Cup or find somebody join me.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy because people don't want to commit for half a year usually.
It's a lot of time,
and also money-wise.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, now I'm on my way, and what happened so far is that I met a lot of people actually, and that fly with me.
Yeah.
So I guess it's another shout out. So if somebody wants to join me for a little bit through their country, you should definitely look into that. We're coming through, and just on Instagram, I'm constantly posting where I am. So within like I don't know, a couple of days we can get together. Right now, I just would wish that you would come with me.
Man, if I could, I would literally do that right now. Like, I would just come with.
Yeah.
I would take a plane and come with. The only thing...
slow plane.
A slow plane. I'll take a 210 and meet you down there.
In 2 months.
The only thing that happens is once you've crossed 2 borders, you're going to have a lot in place already that's going to make the rest easier. Like your insurance, a lot of your paperwork, a lot of that is going to be easier. You're going to be in the Spanish flow of things, you know, so it's gonna get easier as you go down. You'll hit, obviously always hit problems, but for the most part you'll get into the flow of dealing with those problems a lot better.
Did you ever had to bribe anybody?
Yeah, so that's a big thing. I wanted to tell you this. You have to have cash with you. We had $10,000 cash in the airplane at all times. You maybe don't need that much. The biggest thing is do not take big bills like $100 or $20. Take $10, $5 and $1, because that's what they want. They want to basically then go take $20 out or $30 in like $1 and say, you know, here's your thing, and make it look like you don't have more.
Yeah,
basically.
That's what I mean. I've spent like total of almost a year probably in South America and Mexico, so I know a couple of those things.
Be ready to bribe.
When I was 18 years old, the police stopped me at 2 at night. I was going way too fast on the highway, and he just came up to me and said, "Okay, this is going to be $1,000," and I said, "I have 20." He's like, "Okay." That was off again.
That's awesome.
I mean, maybe it works the same way.
It does, and the best way to avoid bribes is to go to military airports, especially in Mexico. Like fly to military airports, because then they won't try and confiscate your plane or bribe you or any of that. It'll be more strict. But then you also can't go fly low and do stuff like
just
that.
Just according to the rules.
Yeah,
I guess.
So if you want to avoid that, go do that. But the best is just to have a local that'll help you. I really do admire what you and Magdalena are doing. Like, I know the amount of pressure that has. Also, sometimes on a relationship, it can really be hard.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So I really respect that, and I really hope you guys have an amazing trip.
We're actually in a constant development of our personalities, I would say.
Yeah, no,
because
it's absolutely.
Also as a couple, I mean, we kind of said we are going to do this together. And if she says she would leave now, it would be for me like, okay, where's she going? What is she gonna do? I mean, it's like splitting up almost. On the other hand, I would say, okay, go home, and I do my project, which is just a project too. But yeah, it's something that is hard to tell on all those videos that I do. This whole like process and what it actually means to fly a small airplane across the country. It's not like, and I think this is something that people might misunderstand, not on like meaning it bad, but like you don't get on a chat and then get out of the plane again.
Completely different, completely.
Yeah, how would you describe it? The differences, because there are huge differences, and I have my opinion, but.
Well, you're not like when you get into an airline, you're sheltered. Like you're in a capsule. You don't even know what the temperature is, this far away from you. When you're in a Super Cub, you're in the elements, like wind, weather, temperature, your wife's mood in the back, you're like everything matters. Like having an extra roll of toilet paper suddenly puts you over gross weight, all these things matter. So you're a lot more fragile as an entity, and that makes you so vulnerable to anything that can happen. Like, and that's dangerous. Like there is a genuine element of danger to what you're doing, and that is very stressful for you as the pilot. And it's so hard to convey that to people that aren't pilots. Yeah,
and that's just one little like element of the whole thing, because you've got like the flight planning or the new places. Like you go new places all the time that you have never been to in your life, and you're like, okay, how can I imagine? How can I pre-think like everything that's gonna happen, because that's all that matters. Like even flying, I mean, other pilots probably know that, or for sure know that you're like, okay, tomorrow we're gonna fly to Santa Monica in LA. It's like,
and you're not just
gonna go into your plane and jump in and fly there, because it's a big mess of traffic, rules, regulations, and that's only here. So, and then you go to a place that you don't have a chart. So this is what I'm constantly thinking, and also
reality
even
is-
here in the US doing, you know.
The reality is you don't need to overthink it too much, because there is going to be no rules and regulations down there.
Okay.
Like, the rules and regulation you're going to stick to is like the authorities. Like, avoid getting into trouble with the military and avoid getting into trouble with the cartels. That's it. For the rest, you just fly. You arrive somewhere, you check it out, you land. You know, like, it's a lot less strict than it is up here. I think what's going to be more of a big deal is where to stay, you know, stuff like that.
Well, what I'm thinking is,
weather.
and that was one of the biggest helps actually, that you said, okay, I can organize a person that will help me
100%,
land somewhere,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then I'm just gonna be there, and like my plane is safe. Like this is like when you fly in Alaska, it's a similar thing, because you want to stay with your plane and you're afraid of bears, that bear comes.
Yeah.
So I mean, there is just a different thread, but it's still the same thing. You want to stay with your plane because it's the only thing that's going to take you out of where you are again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is one of the things that I want to pre-arrange, like in case I get somewhere and I want to have like a place I'm sure my plane is going to be safe, and I can take a cab and just go check out the area.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing too, is I want to stress for you is, and I've mentioned this before, that I think you should get an editor, because what's going to happen is you're going to miss out on it. This is the biggest adventure of your life with you and your wife, you know, and it's so important to enjoy it. It's so important to be present. It's so important to actually have time to enjoy it. And when you're not editing, that's a massive weight off your shoulders, like massive. All you need to do then is focus on filming. And the other thing is the paperwork. Like, paying somebody $80 to go and take you into a new country.
Yeah.
The amount of stress it just allows you to enjoy the experience a lot more than you would otherwise. That's a massive thing. Like, enjoy these next 4 months, because it's going to be memories from then on onwards. You know, you'll always be thinking back to it. So enjoy it while you can.
Yeah, so far we kind of trying to find a balance. We have a little bit more time than we need for flying only.
Yeah.
So this makes it possible somehow, but I'm pretty sure, as you say, we go further south and it's going to be much more from the outside.
What's also going to happen is you're going to run out of internet.
True,
like down there, to upload a video is going to take you 4 or 5 days, you know?
Yeah.
So it's easier to just put a hard drive in the mail and ship it to somebody, you know?
Yeah.
So that's part of that too. And then just messaging with somebody who's organizing your paperwork for you, instead of having to email documents and fax and, you know, call, and it's just much easier.
Okay.
It's a better life.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that was a good start for me.
Yeah, dude.
Start is good.
It's not as hard as you think.
No.
It'll be a lot easier.
I'm getting more comfortable. I mean, as I said, we already flew from Alaska to here. At least we crossed Canada.
Yeah.
And we flew over really remote places, and like there was no rules. There was just like me trying to get high enough to come over the mountains and stuff like this. So I'm feeling way more comfortable already right now. And it's getting better for sure. Better
awesome,
for sure.
dude.
I'm gonna cross the border to Mexico, and I'm gonna be in Mexico. So.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. You flew yourself from Alaska to Mexico.
Yeah, that's also
Incredible.
something. Already something. So thanks a lot, JB, aka the Candorist. Check him out on YouTube. He has like a really famous channel there. I mean,
No,
also
not
his
really.
stories. He's 24, right? And flew around the world, did all that cool shit. Cool. Person. And yeah, so I hope we meet again.
Of course, dude. We're gonna fly your cub across the North Atlantic.
And that's a good plan. I really like this plan.
If we don't do the North Atlantic, we'll go do something awesome. Like,
Yeah.
I'll have my carbon cub next year, and we'll go
Cool.
play around.
Yeah, so one idea would be just for sure to fly from Brazil to Oshkosh, and then maybe decide there if we go to Alaska and just have fun, or if we go to Austria and stick to regulations.
Dude, Austria. Wiener Neustadt is one of my favorite places.
Yeah, I saw that video.
Yeah.
It was one of the videos I saw.
That's awesome.
Really, that's very good, where you just like handled everything in the air for a long time, right?
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
That's
You
awesome.
should check it out too. Okay, cool.
All right, dude.
Thanks, man.
Good luck with your flight.
Thank you.